Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the House of Glam. This is our live broadcast, and we are continuing the broadcast that we've been doing, the series that we've been doing on retail arbitrage. And so I would like for you to please respectfully and in every other way warmly welcome my VIP guest, my special friend, and the man who honestly increased my subs probably more than even I have. This is Johnny with Kajun Roots Reseller. There we are.
Hello, hello. Here's Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
Mwah.
Oh, Carrie, there's Carrie. She said, "Hey, yay, Johnny, we love you."
Thank you. I love y'all too.
There's Bouncer Chloe reporting for duty. Chloe
Oh,
is Kimberly Chaos. She's the
yeah.
one that was, yeah. Hi, Deb. Let's see. Let's go in and say hi to the chat. Oh, there's Ryan Card Shop. He's always first. Hi,
Hey,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Oh, look, it's Johnny in the chat too.
Hey.
There's Veronica with her fierce video. We watched it.
Love your video, girl.
Aunt Boo. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. There is Beverly. Hi, Beverly. Let's see. Oh, why, Bethel? Why are you always driving? Excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm not sick. I had to. I have a house full of drywall dust. Good timing. I'm jumping to here from Sin City live stream. Oh, they do the Vegas stream.
Wow.
Yeah. Hi, Deb. How you doing, sweetie? It's good to see you. Now, I apologize in advance. Not everybody is going to get highlighted. If I don't know you that well, we're very high test security here. So, just so you know, or if I can't keep up with the chat, which is usually the case. Hi, Kristen. How you doing, baby girl? Hi, Steven. How you doing? Good to see you. Well, Margaret, I know you. How you doing, baby girl? So, Johnny, how's your day been?
Good. Productive.
It's been good?
Yes. Got a lot done today. I had a great show this morning, yesterday, bingo last night. I have to say, I'm blessed.
I love it. I love it. Let's see. Oh, hi, Jen. Hi. How you doing, baby? Card Shop said this is Johnny's late night. Yeah, this
Yeah.
really is. There's a reason why we had it kind of early.
Well, like I said before the end of the year, that this would be a new year for me where I would definitely try to make other shows on as guest, to collaborate and work with others to collaborate and network. Because usually everybody would come to my channel, so now I try to stay up, here and there for later shows. Because usually about 7:30, 8:30, I'm already in bed. So yeah, that was my goal, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm so glad you stayed up late for me tonight, Johnny. I've seen you do that before, and yeah, Jen said it's weird seeing Johnny on a late night live,
Yeah.
but we're always just really, really thrilled, and I know that it's an extra effort, and I deeply, deeply appreciate that. I really do.
Thank you for asking me.
It was certainly my pleasure. Oh, let's say hi to the happy hour haulers. That is Bryn and that's Bryn Diaz and Janet Adams. Hi, Bryn. Hi, Janet.
Hello.
Say hi to Frankie for us.
Hello.
And there is Roy. Hello.
Yeah.
Happy Tuesday, Roy.
That's right.
And Boo saying Nighthawks.
Yep.
Yes, we are Nighthawks. We are for sure.
Friday and Saturday, I definitely stay up late as I can to watch some of the other channels.
Yeah.
That's about where it goes. On Thursdays, I might be up to about 8:15 at the latest, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I actually get up early to come in and see your live in the morning, and then I usually go back to bed afterwards.
Or in this case, like this morning, you were up early because when I woke up at 3 o'clock, I had a video you just posted like a few hours before that. I was like,
yes. that one I had on my heart, and I was like, you know what, I need to just do this, or it's going to keep me up, and it's going to
Yeah.
bother me, because I just really felt like that was, like
Right.
that was like it was time.
Yep.
It was time.
Well, thank you for it.
Hi, baby girl. How you doing? Oh, I love the little hands. That's so cute. Yeah, Chloe, I did go live at about 2 a.m.
Yeah.
She said, I was
Because I
like,
watched
Glamma.
it at 3, and I think it said it was like 45 minutes prior that you put it up, and I had just got up at 3-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, Glamma, go to bed. Yeah, Aunt Boo was sleeping at the time. She was sleeping the sleep of the innocent, the just. So tonight we're going to be talking with Johnny, and I wanted to bring Johnny on because we've got he actually does retail arbitrage as part of his business model, and the series is about retail arbitrage. And Johnny agreed last month to be my guest tonight.
Yep.
I just wanted to get different perspectives. Tommy does a large percent of his business, I think, is retail arbitrage, much larger than anything else.
Yeah.
With you, Johnny, you really juggle more than one aspect of this business, and you seem to be doing it quite successfully.
Yeah.
And so that was something that I really kind of wanted to know about and find out, how you do that, and do you have to make changes between the different platforms and things like that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And let's go ahead and jump right in. The first question that I have for you is also a question that I had for Tommy, because Tommy served in the Army, and may still, I'm not sure. He doesn't talk about what he does. And when it comes to the government, I don't ask, honey.
He's retired. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you were in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess my question for you is, did your time in the service, did your time in the Navy, did any of that prepare you for sort of like what you're doing now? Did that have any impact on how you do your business?
I would have to say yes, because I, to this day, am still organized, just like I was in the military when they teach you how to fold your clothes a certain way. Because on the ships, when I was on the USS Saratoga CV-60, it's an aircraft carrier, you only had a certain space under your bunk. And you had to fold your clothes a certain way to get it to fit in there. And if you didn't fit it in there, you couldn't put it in there. So yes, that did teach me a lot of, and again, it brings me to how I organize things in my life and in my business. And of course, it teaches you, like for me, everything is keep track of everything. So I have spreadsheets. I keep documents. I do monthly, quarterly. I even do everything on a Word document just to be easy to grab and catch if I'm looking for certain things. So I have to say, it not only molded me for that, it helped me to understand ways of life that need to be important and putting things in perspective of what you need to do in order. And that's why I'm also, when I first started and teaching people things, for me, I call it time block. So if you're not sure what you need to do for the day, the way I talk about it is, say, for example, you wake up, some people wake up at 7, 8 o'clock. And say from 7 to 8, you drink your coffee. So say from like 8 to 8:15, take that time to check your emails, reply to emails, check your eBay, check your messages in eBay. Any platform you sell on, check those platforms, whether it's Amazon, Mercari, Etsy, whatever. And I take that time when I get in the office, that first 30 minutes, when I start my computer, it's emails, messages, all the platforms I sell on. And then I make sure I answer all of those, and then I pull my orders. That's my next time block. So then I start pulling all the orders, do all the paperwork, because I do a paperwork for each item that sells as a paper trail. And then I keep track of the shipping, the eBay fees, the cost, my cost of goods. All of that is in my forms of paperwork that I do per piece that I sell. That way I know for a fact when I need to go look up something, I know where to go look, whether it's by the month or by the week, because that's how I do all my paperwork, by the week. And so that's what makes me do that time block, to where by 1 o'clock, 2 at the latest, I am done. Unless I have another show in the afternoon, my day is done. When I leave the office, and I also take a time spot for 30 minutes to an hour to get out the office, get out the room, go upstairs, go to the post office, whatever it takes me to do to get out of that room that I'm in here downstairs in the eBay office.
Right.
get my mind back in order, get my lunch, get something to eat, refreshing, and then come back down. So that's part of what I call time block, and that's what I do every day.
Wow. Okay, I like that. Now here's the thing though. It sounds a little like, do you do that outside of your business?
Mhm.
Does Robert mind?
I am by the
You
time
drive Robert crazy with
I
that?
don't know. I think he's so used to it now because it's been 12 years. We've been together, 6 years. We've been married. So I think he's used to
Uh,
it by now.
right,
Because for me, like he'll let me know, look, I'm on my way home. I always ask him to at least let me know when he's home on his way from work. Because
right.
I know it takes me 45 minutes to wherever I'm at prepping dinner
Mhm.
because I know what I can do next because I do my dinners the same way. I have to do this first, knowing I have to have this next. And when he says I'm on my way, then I can do the last part of the meal or whatever I'm doing. And so that also goes into my daily life. And then again, I block out like certain days to do laundry, clean the house, make sure my
Yeah.
dishes and all are done, and do what I have to do around the house as well. And I've been doing that everywhere throughout, either if it's personal or business. Yeah.
Also, if you know a good way to clean contractor mud off the floor, we'll talk about that after the chat. I am swimming in contractor mud this week. So is Robert part of the business? Does he help you with the business at all?
Well, with the business, it's strictly me as far as what I do.
Uh-huh.
So Kajun Roots Reseller is my business. So everything I do with the business, you'll see Kajun Roots Reseller.
Right.
Now, Robert got me started when we moved here, but when he decided to, he saw how I was doing it, and it was actually his idea when we moved because, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I had businesses in Louisiana. Now we got to uproot and move. So what I'm going to do? And so he actually got me started watching YouTube channels. And so that's why I started to where when we went to start moving, because we moved twice before we moved up here, believe it or not. We moved from a house that we lived in for the beginning of our relationship. And then for the last exactly up to the year, when we bought and sold and moved into our new home, we were the first owners of the house, to the day that we signed the papers for this house was exactly 1 year. So
Wow.
every time I moved, I purged and put things in boxes. So
Mhm.
when we moved from Louisiana to Massachusetts, I started marking everything because I knew what I was going to do when I got up here. And so I marked every box that we purged. If we didn't touch it in 6 months, if it was still brand new sealed, it went in a box marked eBay inventory. So when I moved, everything that we didn't ever had touched all that time, it was in an inventory for me to start eBay when I got up here. That's how I started eBay.
Wow. That is possibly the most prepared thing I've ever heard in my life. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I had lots
That
of
is
boxes. So,
incredible. Yeah. I've got a I I feel like turning over a new leaf now. I'm like, okay, so maybe I need to make a few
plus,
changes.
even though when we moved, though, I always still purge every 6 months.
The
So if I
purge.
find things in the house that we haven't touched and it's still sitting there, it's going to
Uh-huh.
go on eBay.
You're
On the
like, see you
card,
later, alligator.
or in the antique booth, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
for me, I had made a goal before I turned 55 that by the age of 60, I want to be completely minimalist. Things that I've enjoyed all these years, like all my Fenton collection, I've
Hmm.
been moving it to my antique booth. I want somebody else to start enjoying it because I have done it all this time. So now it's time for me to make my money back and let somebody else enjoy it or make their money. So that's what I've been doing lately is kind of bringing pieces at a certain amount of them at a time and put in my glass booth at the antique mall.
Yeah. Chloe says, "What a journey! You are awesome. You are awesome."
Oh, thank you.
Um, and Roy said, "Boxes labeled eBay inventory. I can relate. Can we not? Can we not all? Yeah."
Hey,
Um,
Patrick.
hey, Patrick Murphy. Patrick Murphy sent you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Kristen said she's so impressed by someone who can time block, task block, any kind of blocking, and actually stick to it and be productive. That is such a struggle for me. Honestly, Kristen, I think that's a struggle for so many of us. And so that's to already have that sort of mindset in place whenever you start the business. I think you're 10 miles ahead of the road in that.
Well, also when it comes to that, and the reason I did that at the beginning is because I wanted to know what can I accomplish by a certain time of the day. And for me, if I know I want to get something done by a certain time of the day,
Uh-huh.
I know I need to make sure. And again, at the beginning, it was a little hard because I was always bouncing around wanting to get everything done. So then I
Yeah.
started going back and said, okay, let me see what takes the quickest or what is the longest, and then I basically put it in the timestamp of the day. So if I know I want to take and list or do drafts, I'm gonna set up an hour to do drafts and pictures.
Hmm.
Because I know usually it takes about an hour and a half to go through and list them. Because what I do is and I didn't know this till Robert started reselling on eBay. Because I asked him one day, I said, how are you getting your drafts done so fast? Whereas I'm taking the pictures, then I'm doing my drafts on the computer. But he
Hmm.
said, I just do it on my phone. And I never thought of that. So now I do my
That's
drafts on the phone, the pictures, and then I come on the computer and do the finalizations and see everything in the big picture by making sure all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, because then I can actually see everything while I'm working on it on the computer compared to the phone.
that's so smart. That's so smart. I started listing on Poshmark on my computer, not on my computer, on my phone. Whenever I found out I can just take the pictures on my, I was watching a video of somebody, and they were like, "Yeah, just take the pictures on your phone and then just list from your phone." And I was like, "You can do that?" And now I'm kind of mad because I can't figure out how to make eBay do that. I know there's a trick, but
You
I've
can
got
do it.
like
You can
I
do
know
it, but
I've
you
got an
gotta go
old
through the
people
app.
phone, you know.
Just like the Macari and Etsy, I just was able, which I didn't realize it, they had the app for the phone. And all this time I've been doing it on the computer. So now I have it on my phone that I can do, because I have drafts ready for Macari and Etsy as well. And I have that like on the weekends, that's when I do all my drafts. And now I can do it on my phone where I have the drafts. I can take the pictures. That's all I got left for Macari. So I can do that now and then just do my the same thing I do on eBay. And Amazon is the same way now, where I didn't know this when I first started Amazon. How is all these people having to better take them from their phone, and before they leave a store, they have it listed and can sell before they walk out of a store? Well, I couldn't understand that, because like, how are y'all doing it? So I had to ask Tommy, and he said, yeah, just go to the app, scan it. If it says you're not gated, list it right there. And I'm over here on the computer doing it in when I first started, and that was
Yeah,
the longest. You got to fill everything out. Whereas
yeah,
if you do
going
it
the
on your
long
phone, you
way
take a
home.
picture. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can always say, I always used to tell my employees, work smarter, not harder. With how they say, practice what you preach, do it as I say, not as I do. Yeah. And so now I do it that way. So yeah.
The happy hour haulers, Janet and Bryn, need to enroll in listing time block 101 for thread up fun boxes and bin hauls. We're gonna, I'm gonna have maybe have Sergeant Johnny do that for you.
Here comes a how-to video.
That's right. Allie Dell, hello, welcome to the chat. So I guess my next question would be, at what point, because we know that you went into reselling when you moved to Massachusetts. At what point did you move into retail arbitrage, and what sort of was the catalyst for that?
Well, for that, actually, even before I met Robert, y'all may hear me a lot in my videos call it Clarence, not clearance, because that's the
Clarence. I was telling my sister that, and Carrie's like, "That is the cutest thing." I'm like, "I know,
yeah.
it's so adorable."
And so every time I go out, that's the first place I go to, whether it's Walmart or any store I go to. I find the big Clarence yellow sign, and that's where I go to first. And so when I met Robert and I started doing it, now he does it where, you gonna go to Clarence today? Let's go to Clarence. I said, yeah, let's go, you know?
Let's see,
And
Mr.
so that's what
Clarence.
we do together, and we go check out Clarence, to where there's certain things that like he'll know now from doing it with me for so long with doing it now. He'll even know, well, what about this? And he goes, can you check your phone for this? And what about this? And so I'm constantly got the app going on and scanning, because what I do when I scan is I use everything and lock it to the what's sold. Because
Right.
when I'm doing retail arbitrage, and I started that strongly. Now, mind you, when I first started, within the first 6 months, it was strictly all the inventory that I had gotten. I'd taken all the money that I made from that and put it right back into the business to invest in that money first, to keep buying more before I started buying things other than going to retail arbitrage, because I wanted to get my inventory out first and make sure I had it all listed.
Right.
And then I went into Barbie dolls, because I had a lot of Barbie dolls, because I used to buy storage auctions. And I had a lot of totes full of Barbie dolls, still brand new in their boxes.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I first started, and that's another thing. When I first started, it was basic, free eBay account. I used my printer for my labels. I used anything and everything I can get for free.
Yes.
And so when I first started, I was basically only going through my inventory that I had to start with. Then as I started getting money coming in, I then would go to Walmart and start pricing, because I hear people talk about what is retail arbitrage. And it's like, yeah, I would like to know that. And so when I did start, it was about within my first I would say right after my 6-month mark.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was basically working with what I had for free. And again, would go to garage sales or we would go to an estate sale. And that's how my actual first estate sale was with Robert and his sisters in Illinois when we were up there visiting. And so that's what got me to start going into that as well, because that was a lot more cheaper than going to the stores and buying even on retail arbitrage. Now, when I first started, I was taking, and I had to learn the hard way because I was watching so many channels that would do that, not realizing that they're tanking the platforms, because what happens is, say for example, somebody's saying, here's a bolo.
Uh-huh.
And they're talking about something they found at, say, either Ross or Marshalls or Walmart or Target, wherever. And then everybody else and their brother goes and buys them, and then they start listing them. That's what it means by tanking the platform.
Okay, so they're like flooding the market with stuff.
Listed, so then if you're going to list, you're going to wind up having to wait your turn if you don't price it right. So when I go to retail arbitrage and when I started learning that, I started making sure that I have my phone app on and I'm scanning. Then if I see what it's sold for and how many sold, then I go back to how many are listed. If there's more listed than sold, it'll stay on the shelf. Now, it depends on what it is. Now, if it's something I know is going to make some good money and I've sold it before, yeah, I'll buy it. But then I'll have to sit on it for a while to make sure that I get the price I want for it, knowing that if everybody starts selling theirs off and they keep dropping the price, and I stick with mine knowing that it's going to go for that price, and then after everybody's out, just like on Amazon, then you know they're going to have to pay that price or at least make an offer.
How do you know when everybody's out?
Oh, trust me, you'll see how many are listed compared to how many are sold.
Oh, okay.
So you'll have more sold and very little listed.
Ah, okay.
That's why it's important too. Even though, say, you buy something and list it, every week I go through some of the higher dollar items that I have, whether it's video games or action figures, wrestling figures, whatever it may be. Each week I take a different category, and I'll go through a lot of my things and see. I'll highlight my title, put it in, open another tab for eBay, and see how much it's going for at that time.
Oh, wow.
The prices fluctuate. So what I'm doing is on a weekly basis, on the weekend, I'm actually going through most of my particular topics that I'm going through, whatever category, and I'll start scanning some of the items that I think that I want to check on. And I don't go for every single piece, but I do go for the majority of what I'm looking for and want to check the prices on at that time. And if the prices are higher, I'm changing my price. They say you can't change your price higher, but you can come down lower. No, you can do what you want with it, because
you can go either way.
Correct. And so if the price is being sold, now I only look at what's sold.
Right.
At that time, if I already have it listed, I'm not worried about what's listed, because remember, whatever we're asking for doesn't mean we're going to get that price.
Exactly.
So what I do is I go to what's sold, and I keep the what's sold tab at all times, and I'll scan it there. Like I told Robert one day, he was wondering why, his stuff was selling so fast when he listed it. And I said, maybe sometimes it's probably you listed it too low. Now, if you're basing it on, like, say, a couple of months ago or a month ago, you may want to check it again to check, because sometimes the prices go up and down. So it's just something you have to be aware of. Even though we have a lot of people who do the bolos, which is be on the lookout for.
Right.
I don't go for those, because I find that when that happens, too many people go out and looking for it, and then they all list it. So then now you're bombarded with the same product. So that's one thing you have to be on the lookout for. Be mindful when using your app. Still look at what's listed of how many compared to how many sold.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's very smart. And it's something Chloe said, I never thought of that. And I'm kind of like that too. Patrick says bolos are like the stock market. I'm kind of like that, where, somebody's like, oh, this is a bolo. And for the first probably 6 to 8 months that I was a reseller, I was like, oh, okay, well then let's go out and get this. But truly the problem is that saying that it's a bolo, it's already a bolo at certain levels of selling. And now it's out there for everybody to kind of flood the market with it.
Yep.
So yeah, I've learned to just trust my instincts as far as, if something's likable, I grab it. And, or if I think it's good quality or something like that, so yeah, you can't just go on bolo. That's very, very smart.
Well, one of the things I did do when I first started watching a lot of YouTube, even before I even got into eBay, I would watch these, because Robert said you might want to watch this person, this person, this person. When he would go to work, I would start watching different people that were suggested to me.
Mhm.
And so what I did on my phone, because some people who have like the Samsung, I have a Galaxy S.
I
They have
do
what's called
too.
the Samsung Notes,
Uh-huh.
and I would literally make categories on the Samsung Note tab, and like certain brands of ties, certain brands of coffee cups, certain brands of toys or years, records, comics, uh, different categories and things like that. I would put in those categories. So when I'm on the out looking like for either whether it's retail arbitrage or if I'm at estate sales or even if I'm out at the garage sales, I would be able to look at my thing after my list is knowing what's on there. I say, oh wait, I think that's on my list. Let me check. And if it is, then I'm okay. Then I may be interested in getting this item depending on what the price is. So what I do is when I'm out garage selling and or estate sales,
Mhm.
I don't look at the prices for that because what I know is there's one estate sale that we go to and actually now two. I can bundle by putting everything in a pile and then I'll turn around and negotiate. We'll go back and forth with prices until we both are agreeable on the price. And I find I get better deals that way. Then, okay, well, I'm not going to get it because of that price. So don't be afraid to pile and negotiate.
I am never afraid to make a pile of things I like.
I'm not either.
Yeah, the negotiation. Actually, I'm usually not too afraid to negotiate either. I've done a lot. I've done enough sales to kind of.
And then,
I spent a lot of time in sales, so.
and so, and again, going back to don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to tell certain places where you go what you do because
Mhm.
you can make connections that way. So have a business card with your phone number. Let them know what you do because sometimes, like Nana Tink, I've watched her do some buyouts and actually, that's all she had to do was clean out houses and she can do whatever she wants with the stuff on the inside because that's how the
Oh,
team.
how lovely.
Right.
I mean, the
So
work sucks, but the
the
rest of
more
it's
you
lovely.
talk and don't be afraid to talk to people, you'll be afraid of what you'll be surprised on what how many people are going to want you to be part of what they're doing because a lot of people may be flipping houses and they
Yeah.
just want the stuff out of it just so they can redo what they have to do and remodel it. So yeah, don't be afraid. Carry those business cards with you.
Yeah.
I never leave home without them, just like my American Express.
I need to get business cards. I had them in my previous, in my previous incarnation as, Dana the catering sales manager, but I don't have those now. Sorry about that. That was spam. That was potted meat calling me. So I did want to know though, where do you source from besides like a clearance section at Walmart, which is what every single person says? Where else are some of the places that you source from whenever you're looking for,
Retail
retail
arbitrage.
arbitrage specifically? Yeah.
Well, we do Target. I
Uh-huh.
do a Walmart. Um, I have done like let me think of where else I go.
Of course you do, Fartse. Sorry.
Actually, those are my main ones.
Target
Not
and
only
Walmart.
now and then, I might find something like at the Dollar Tree,
Uh-huh.
but very few and far between. But most of it is always Walmart or Target.
Now, there was one time too, I remember over the winter, you said something about finding it was either Funko Pops or one of the Squishmallows. You found
Yes.
those at
Oh, and
Walgreens on
Walgreens.
sale?
Walgreens. That was another place I do retail arbitrage. Because Walgreens also a lot of times will have things on clearance at their like they have a clearance section, and I always go there because I know where it's at and I know where each one of them are. So I go directly there, or even CVS. When I first started, when we moved here for the first year, right after Christmas, Robert at that time with his insurance, he would have to get his prescriptions at CVS. And so we went to CVS and they had like the remote control cars, all the Hallmark ornaments. I've
Yeah.
already sold all of that because I had listed it. And then again, through the year, don't be afraid to list things that are seasonal because that sells all year round. So yeah, I do CVS and Walgreens as well.
I'm finding this out about the Christmas stuff, especially Christmas and Halloween.
Yeah,
Halloween's like any time of year.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I was going to say clearance. Every time Johnny says clearance, somebody put a heart in the chat for me, would you? Because we love clearance and we love Johnny. We love Johnny is over here. This StreamYard thing has got me all backwards.
Look,
Um,
when you're thinking about the screen,
uh-huh.
point the opposite way you want to go. But when you're looking,
Okay, so I want to point that way, so I'm going to point that way.
yes.
That way. Yeah, I'll never. It'll never be natural. I don't think.
Take your other hand and cross your face.
There we go.
There you go.
Ah, good.
like that. But I got to go that way.
Yeah, I gotta go. Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna point
let's touch fingers. Okay, ready? Boy, hi, Daddy. I was going to ask you, what sort of cash reserve do you think someone, if they were going to take retail arbitrage to like let's say like a third or a half of their business,
Mhm.
what percentage of their profits should they hold in cash reserve? Do you think for to be able to have that at hand for retail arbitrage?
For me, when I'm shopping retail arbitrage, I want to make sure if I'm buying something, for example, I'm going to use this because this is just easy to grab to. Say I'm going to buy this to resell. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm looking at and say the price is $1, but they're selling for $5, at least if I'm doubling my money, if I paid $1 and I can make $2, but making sure that $1 is in the back in the price of what I
Uh-huh.
paid for it, and I'm making $2 prior to that, then it's okay. So $5, if it's selling for, I'm going to buy as many as I can because now I'm not only doubling my money, but I'm going to do plus shipping. I'm not going to pay for shipping because that's going to eat up in my cost.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to charge for shipping.
Do
So
you hear
even
that,
though it's
chat?
under a pound, I'm not going to have it. Now, again, there are some things depending on the weight of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is, doesn't even say how much. Child don't even say how many ounces on this thing. Nope.
I'm clutching pearls. Okay, that's
Usually they
did
do.
they do that? That's
But
weird.
usually you can feel it and you know it's going to be under like, say, 4 or 5 ounces.
Right.
Yeah, I would do free shipping on it because I know it's going to cost me about $3.45.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not sure, guess what I'm doing on the postal? I'm going to Google this or I'm going to go to Pirate Ship and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to put in 90210 because I live on the Massachusetts side and I know California's all the way on the other side and there
Right.
is a zip code of 90210. I'm going to put that in there and see what's the highest price I'll have to pay. 9 times out of 10, it's about 369, 389. So, yeah,
And then
you got to
just
look at
put
that too.
$4 shipping in the yeah.
Right. You want to make sure when you're pricing your items, if you're going to do free shipping, make sure it's covered in your price. And for me, that's about 19% of what I'm going to put the price at. So
Okay.
whatever I'm doing, I always multiply that by 19%, and that's what I'm adding to that price if it's going to be free shipping.
Okay, so after you sell the items and you've got your profit, do you put a percentage of that profit to the side to purchase new items to
I
plow back
just leave
into
it in
the
the bank.
business?
I just leave it in the bank.
Okay.
Now, if I'm outsourcing, then of course I'm gonna take that money and start buying again at retail arbitrage because then I know I can make the money and put it back in the bank just to keep it rolling over.
Right.
Now, I didn't start that till, and this is just me. I wanted to make sure I had at least $500 after all the like eBay fees because at that time it was by the month.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure all that was covered, all my expenses were covered, and had at least $500 in my bank account on the business account before I went back out and bought anything retail arbitrage or anything. So once I got that $500 cushion and then the sales were still coming in and I was getting my money, then I started. But that was me. You need to
Right.
make sure if you're going to do something like that of how much money you want to put aside, make sure you look at all your expenses are covered first and then how much you're going to be able to put aside and save aside.
Mm-hmm.
Also making sure you have maybe a savings account to put that on the side as well for any rainy day. But again, every business is different. But that's what I did at the beginning before I even started retail arbitrage. And it
Now,
took about 6 months.
the cat police. Yeah. The hardest thing I think for me to learn with reselling was to pay myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to remember to pull down a paycheck for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And not just plow every single thing back into the business, but I've got expenses too, honey. This makeup ain't cheap, and I have to go and buy these things. So yeah, that was the hardest part for me to just go, okay, Dana, you can't put every single thing back into the business.
Right.
Do you find it hard to pay yourself? Do you find it
I
was it
don't.
hard to stop or start? I guess
No, I don't.
no.
I don't pay myself. I leave business into business because I want to keep making the money by what I'm making and investing right back in it. Because I already have an income. I already have money coming in. So for me, I want to keep it in the business because if I see a good deal, for example, once I had a good cash in my account,
Uh-huh.
I was able to buy some large buyouts. Like I've already bought out 3 eBay stores from
Oh,
different
wow.
retailers. And this is within the 2 years because I've been doing this for 2 years and 2 years and a half.
Oh, wow.
It took me a good first year before I did my first big buy. But again, that was keeping the money in there, all the money I was making, the profits, just to keep it going to where you never know when that one opportunity is going to come along. And in this case, multiple came along to where I was able to do that because I had the capital put aside. Then I had 2 large buys I did off of Facebook Marketplace. I made a connection
Hmm.
and then I was able to buy. And again, I'm almost out of everything I purchased when it came to wrestling figures, Christmas ornaments.
Wow.
And I already did 2 big buys off of Facebook Marketplace. And my first one was over $1,300. But guess what? All of that is sold already, going out the door.
Oh,
So
and I
the
hope you made a lot more than 1,300 on it.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
We're not going to ask you about your profit margins. Those are private.
Well, no, I don't mind saying that because for me, when I'm buying things, for example, if I pay $15, I need to make sure I'm making 60 on it because I want to make sure I get my $15, the original cost,
Right.
double that. So when I'm buying things, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Am I going to be able to double my money and still get my $15 back? That is kind of like how I picture things when I'm buying. Now, granted, there are some times that I'm going to an estate sale or garage sale, and that's something I just can't pass up because, like this one place we went to was a estate sale / garage sale.
Uh-huh.
I have my big old IKEA bags, and I filled up an IKEA bag, and just say one item that I sold right when I got home, I listed it. That one item paid for everything, and everything was profit after that.
I bet it was a
So,
great
but I
What was
think
it?
$30. It was one of those dog carriers,
Oh, I love those.
but it was made out of the cloth,
Mm.
and it had the cage with the little it was like an outdoor type material,
Uh-huh.
and it had the
It was
little
like a little tent.
yeah, like a tent, and it was still brand new in the box. And I
Wow.
spent $30 for everything I purchased.
Uh-huh.
My cost of goods was like $1.13 per piece,
Oh my
and I
goodness.
sold that one piece for $68.
Nice.
So I didn't only get my money back after that one piece. Everything was profit, and that's how I try to buy things.
I love that whenever we've got like the very first or second piece of a haul and it pays for the entire thing, it sort of takes the pressure off the rest of it, and the rest of it seems like it's more fun to sell.
Correct.
Yeah.
And for me, what I do is if I'm bundling things or I'm buying things in bulk,
Uh-huh.
especially when I carry IKEA bags and I'm gonna fill it, and they say, okay, $30 for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I get home, I'm writing it on a piece of paper. I'm writing how many pieces I got total,
Okay.
and I divide it by how much money I spent on that complete lot. That gives me my cost of goods per piece. So I seem to be able to get that down to under $2. I'm doing great because that's my goal. I want to make sure everything I get, my cost is under $2. And it's not something I automatically think of, is because I'm thinking of the bigger picture. How many pieces can I get for under $2?
I like
And
that.
so if I can get something for $30, $40, I'm going to get everything I can. And I look, mostly what I do, I look for brand new sealed items. Now, granted, there are some times that I found this one Jiminy Cricket puppet. I still got
Oh,
it in that group for $1.13 a piece, and it sold for $78.
whew.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
You
You
gotta
just,
love a good antique puppet.
this is pretty cool, too. And the
It
thing about
sounds
it was behind something when I found it. But I
uh-huh.
also find a lot of games that are brand new sealed, and that's what I go for. Albums that are brand new sealed. That's what I go for. That's where most of your
So
money's at.
I guess I would ask then, what are the top five? Give me like top five items that you would recommend for retail arbitrage to find those and resell. What are your top five items?
Puzzles,
Uh-huh.
game boards, or any
Uh-huh.
games, video games, because that seems to be a good thing lately for me. Um, Action figures and Barbie dolls.
Figures and
That's
Barbies.
my top five.
That's yeah, you and Tommy with Buffalo Picker, you and Buffalo Picker are like you're like twinsies when it comes to those, because he said he had the almost exact
Oh,
same
really?
answer word for word. Yeah, I think he skipped over puzzles, but every single thing else is the exact same thing. He said the action figures, the Barbie dolls, and of course his was, his top is Barbie dolls. I
Yeah.
can't believe that this man, yeah, just looking at him, he doesn't look like the Barbie doll expert, and he's more of a Barbie doll expert than I am, and I grew up playing with them. It's
I
just
don't know if you
really,
can see.
huh?
I'm gonna turn my camera a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you see this door right behind me right here?
Yeah.
I have a 5-shelf storage shelf in there. I had 5 of those shelves filled with Barbies. Now
Oh my
mine is
goodness.
really done with Christmas. I'm down to 2. So now it's time for me to buy more because that's how much I sold. In my first year, when I first started, it was puzzles and games. My second year, I had to buy more puzzles and games because I completely ran out by Christmas. So then I was ready for Q4 the second time around because I knew I was going to need it again. So I did that again, and now here I am again. Now I'm ready for the year because now I restocked all that again. So now I'm going to stock some more of. I'm good on action figures now. I restocked that. I just bought some more, so I don't run out. And so my next thing is to definitely restock on Barbie dolls because that is my top sellers.
Now, what types of Barbies sell best on retail
I find
arbitrage?
the older
Uh-huh.
and if the box is in prestige condition.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, most of your anniversary type Barbie dolls
Uh-huh.
that are still brand new in the box, no damage to the box, brings in
Right.
more money. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some other types of dolls that I sell that I'm out of. I can't find anymore. And it's the ones that are I find I buy in the box brand new with the paperwork. So
Yeah.
if I'm hunting for that kind of stuff, I don't want, and don't get me wrong, there is some good ones that you can buy without the box, but I find that my highest sales are those within a box and the paperwork.
I wonder why. I guess it's the collectability, or I guess people just want to be like, if you're going to open it, the first one to open it. But yeah, that kind of makes sense to me, because it just seems like it's sort of like to transfer it for my clothing resellers into clothing terms. It's like having a Fendi bag that's new with tags as opposed to a Fendi bag that's not.
Well, just like the
So,
video games, I've had more people reach out to me and question about some of the games I have because a lot of them are brand new sealed.
uh-huh.
I do have some that are not. I have some that are not, but they are complete. Or I'll run it through the JFJ cleaner and make sure it's nice and clean. And they'll send me, like I had one that was new, but the security tag was not removed, but it was no longer with the cellophane. And I had people emailing me about it. And I mean, these people are like, they want it sealed, perfect condition if they buy
Yeah,
into a collection without being used. So that's why it's important you do that. And then what I like about it, you have less pictures to take when it's brand new sealed.
that's true. You can
Yeah.
actually, well, I mean, we did not that anybody that we know would, use stock pictures. But maybe, you could sort of maybe see those. Yeah. So, how much storage space do you use to house all of this stuff? Because it seems like there's a lot. Do you have like an extra storage space, or do you use like part of your house, or?
Okay, right now I have the complete basement, and this is just as big as the house. I have a complete, the basement is complete, and
Mhm.
that's how it was when we moved in. I have 3 closets. One is completely made out of cedar. All the doors are made out of cedar, but one of the closets I use strictly for shipping supplies, polymetals, bags, and things like that.
Mhm.
This one behind me, that's right here behind me here, this is strictly everything that is listed, and there's shelves lining both closet walls.
Wow.
And I have them organized. So for me, I don't do like, say for example, some people do like bin A number 5, A, B, C, D. I don't do that. I do mine by categories. So in this closet, I have things like from Batman, Minions. I have everything categorized in different categories. Then I have one complete shelf all Christmas. Then I have one that's half Barbie dolls, and the other half is school supplies.
Oh,
Then I
wow.
have one that's all Halloween. Then on the other side, I have everything that has to do with coffee mugs, or any type of gift ideas that have coffee or coffee grind, coffee flavored coffee with it, and coffee mugs and gift sets.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that later.
And then I have sections that are health and beauty aid.
And
Because
that.
lately, for some reason, I've been starting to list and sell hair coloring dye. And I'll buy those brand new. I can buy 2 in a packet of the Savers for $2 for $1. So I'll sell those. And then I have another section that's all wrestling figures or wrestling, anything having to do with wrestling. Then I have another, and this is all in this closet right behind me right here, by the way. Then my last shelf is all outdoor camping supplies, indoor home decor or home things like for your kitchen or your bathroom curtains and things like that. And then in my other closet over there, I have action figures. I have everything categories in action figures, models. The top shelves from one end of the closet to the other are all games. And another one is all puzzles. Then I have all my hats on a long crate with a lid that I can see through.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one shelf that's strict. I don't have a lot of clothing. So I have one shelf that's 2 boxes that are filled with clothing, because I take and put them in poly bags and smash them and tape them to where they fit better in a box. And then I have another one that's all kids' toys or kids' learning things and stuff like that. And then I have everything that has to do with Disney and or Star Wars, Star Trek, that kind of stuff in one area. And then I have like model kits and things like that in another section. So I have everything in categories, but in sections. And I have one long shelf, one big shelf that's all electronics. So I keep everything in categories. Now, for example, if I have one bin that's strictly jewelry that I have listed. So I keep everything in categories. So I have a big section of storage for that, for inventory. Now I have the basement on the other side where the pool game room is. There is a pool table there, but right now I have it filled. And so that's where I need to start moving that inventory, because I've been separating. And my goal, if I go retail arbitrage, it better be listed by that Saturday or that Sunday, by the end of the weekend. Because what I do is I'll list new, and I take something, or I keep everything in boxes with the invoices, because I do a lot of online auctions. And I just started recently getting approved, and I got wholesale that I buy at a wholesale company. So when I buy that, right now I do have a trail at the front door, because we have a big foyer that I had some big shipments come in lately, and so those are sitting in the foyer. So yeah, I have a lot of things.
So it's a lot of yeah.
I refuse to get a storage unit, so that's why I list so much.
I can't get a storage unit because there's no way I would put off shipping so long.
Yeah, I'm not with you. Yeah.
Like, it's so much easier to ship if I like go in the other room and grab the item, and then and then I can wrap it up pretty for shipping and ship it off. But yeah, if I have to go to a storage unit now, Chloe was with Cuberly Chaos. She's good with that. But I think Veronica has a shipping a storage unit too. But it's just not going to be my thing. Yeah, I can't.
If it can't be in this house, then I don't need it.
Plus, if I could have my contractor build one in the backyard, then he can put drywall dust out there and leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, eventually, my goal is I would like to get a shed outside, but mainly for my storage, because I still want to use this room for all the business stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the shipping and receiving, and
Yeah.
Johnny, what would you say was your biggest buying mistake? Like, what was for retail arbitrage, what was the one thing that you were like, oh man, I wish I hadn't done that?
Actually, I have 2. And that's why I say I should have, could have, would have, and I didn't, is when you go sourcing, bring yourself a little backpack or a little fanny pack. And these are the things you need to bring with you. A magnet, a screwdriver, Philip and regular, and some batteries, AA and AAA. Because my biggest mistake was I thought my very first time up here, Robert brought me to these little saver places that I didn't know anything about first time here. And I knew what I was going to be doing here. So I said, okay, let's go. So we did. And we found this talking bass fish. It looked like it was brand new in the box. So I took it, bought it because it was very cheap. Came home, I started investigating it. I didn't have the screwdriver to check on it. And when I went to open it, it was so corroded that all the springs were gone.
Oh no.
And that would have been a good profit if it was in good condition. And it had the
Yeah.
original box, so it looked like it was new.
Right.
But that was the biggest mistake I did because I did not know. So now I try to remember to make sure I have a screwdriver, some batteries, and a magnet. Because the magnet is for when you're going shopping and you find some jewelry. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's how you can tell it's,
Yeah.
it can say 925 all day, but if it sticks to a magnet, you
Yep.
don't have it.
That's
You
right.
ain't got it.
So that was my biggest mistake, and that's what I learned from it.
Mhm.
And so do I do it to this day? No, because I'm more leery about making sure. Can I open the battery pack? Can I see if I can open it? And if I don't have a screwdriver, I just don't buy it. I don't fool with it because I don't bring them with me every time. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was my biggest mistake.
You said there were two.
Oh, the second one was when we went to a different Goodwill
Mm-hmm.
and not thinking of the back of the Elmo. It was one of those talking Elmos that roll and the whole nine
Yeah,
yards.
they do like the little dances.
There's two battery compartments and only checked one. The second compartment was completely rough. I couldn't even save the springs on it. So yeah, always make sure you check anything you think that is something that takes batteries. Check and see if there's multiple battery compartments, because I didn't know it. There was one in the bottom of the foot and one on the back. And only checked one of the compartments.
I wouldn't have thought to look on the foot either for a second battery, but that's a weird thing,
But
right?
the reason was the wheel, the batteries on the feet controlled the wheels on the feet, because when it walked, it was a talking and walking Elmo.
Okay.
But the batteries on the back of it were to control the talking mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's a mistake. I didn't check that second compartment.
Yeah, Allie, you're right. Allie Dell said that's like checking the crotch of the pants for us clothing resellers. It really is.
So that's why a lot of times I stick to brand new sealed. And this thing was just like you would buy it in the store, where it didn't have any cellophane across the top. It's a traditional old box that these talking fish come in, whereas the Elmo was just on the shelf with the plush.
Yeah.
So you don't be in a rush to buy anything. Double check all the battery compartments. If you can, bring screwdrivers with you to open. My biggest thing is I can clean corrosion off of batteries on them things, but sometimes it gets so bad that you can't even do anything because the springs are so corroded that they're falling apart.
No, you can empty a whole can of Coke on top of that battery. It's not going to do a thing.
Exactly.
That was my husband's mom's trick.
So for me, I have a little pile that I did start, and I do every year, where if there's something I purchased and it's damaged and I cannot repair it to resell it, it goes in my pile to take as a loss for my taxes.
That's in some certain circumstances, that's what I do too. I'm like, okay, this is a cost of doing business. It's a business loss.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing to have something, count on your taxes towards, taxes have gotten so high. So I just, when it comes to you mentioned on one of your shows that you were ungated first for Hasbro. Mm-hmm. Can you please tell everybody what ungated means? And also let me know, were there specific items, or did you do like overall items for Hasbro? Or can you just explain a little bit about that?
Okay. On your phone, when you go sourcing, there's two apps I use now because I am approved and I do have a business with Amazon as my business.
And that's what ungating means?
No, that's just me signing up.
Okay.
You have a personal and you have a business. Mine's on the business. So what I do is if I'm sourcing somewhere and I'm using the Amazon app, now that I am approved on Amazon, I actually scan everything in Amazon first. So when you're scanning something, when you look at your phone, it's going to tell you in red, you need to apply or gate it. Whereas if you're scanning something and there's nothing there, that means you can sell it. So that's what gated and ungated means. For example, if there's a book, now certain books like Scholastic, it may tell you need to apply because that means that you have to get permission, but you also have to make sure you buy at a wholesale company for those type of books. Okay. Once you get ungated, whether it be for a particular company, a particular product. Once you're ungated, because the first time you do, you need to have at least 10 items to list for your first time, especially when you're trying to get ungated. You have to apply to that company or through Amazon for that company or that product. Now, for me, I basically went online and my first thing was books. I have a whole bunch of books that I would scan. And if it said Scholastica, the kids' school books, the ones,
Scholastic, uh-huh.
like, yeah, I was gated in that. So I didn't want to really fool with that because then you'd have to go and apply for it and all that stuff. So what I do is if I scan on my phone and it says I'm ungated, because if you're gated, it would say in red, need to apply, or you need you're gated. That means you have to apply for it. Now, sometimes depending on how long you've been on Amazon, they might approve you because of your business with Amazon for that long period of time. So when you're getting started, I would scan everything on Amazon first. If I'm gated, then I'm scanning on eBay. So that way I had a backup if I wasn't. Now, the first few times that I did start that was with, I would go to Ollie's. And now usually they have a whole bunch of the same books. So for me to get started, I started with books. Now, my first book I listed, I actually got on clearance at Walmart for 34 cents.
Nice.
I bought 14 of them. I bought them out. It was Halloween books. Now, I had it listed on eBay for almost a year and only sold one book. So I took 10 of those. That was my first book I listed on Amazon. Within one day, I sold out all my inventory. On the first day I listed them.
Oh, my stars.
Yeah. So that's what got me hooked.
Yeah,
So
that would get you hooked.
And I'm scanning. Am I gated? Am I ungated? And if it said ungated, I'm listing, and I'm already have it listed before I walk out the door. If I bought 20 of those books, they were listed, and before I even cashed them out, before I paid for it. Now, if you're gated, you have to apply. Now, sometimes when you scan it says ungated, then that means you automatically are approved. But that's what that means when it comes to gated or ungated. Now, for me, I applied through a wholesale company. And that's how I got ungated for Hasbro. Now, I am ungated for 4 products because I bought some trolls, some certain types of trolls that were brand new in the box. Of course, I love my Clarence, and I found Clarence at a wholesale company.
Love
and
it.
I bought them. So I
love
bought
Mr. Clarence.
5 or 6 cases of them. And so I have them all listed. But then I went to Walmart for Black Friday the week before when it started this year, where they were doing like 2 weeks prior to Black Friday. The first week I didn't do anything, but the second week I did. And when I got in there were some certain toys that were $10 and under, and I'm scanning, and I was able to list them before I even left the store and paid for them.
Wow.
Because I was not gated. So don't be afraid to scan everything you can, because you never know when that one's going to come up and say ungated. But for me, if I scan it says gated, I'm going straight to my eBay app. So I have 2 different platforms I can pull it for that I'm sourcing.
Okay, so hashtag scan what you can.
Yep.
Scan everything you can. You heard it here first.
Amazon if you're on Amazon, or eBay if you're on eBay.
Now we're getting ready to wrap up and I just wanted to a final thought. What advice would you give for anyone who wants to begin retail arbitrage? What would you say would be maybe a few important things to remember?
1, make sure you save enough capital to get into that. Sometimes you get caught up in it because you see it on clearance, and then if it happens where you don't check the comps, that is the biggest mistake. You got to check those comps. Look at what's sold versus what listed. If you have more listed than sold, skip it. Don't waste your money at the beginning if you're just starting out. The more you do it, the longer you're in doing that, it'll catch up to where you know what to look for. You're going to know, okay, I can buy this and I can flip it. I may have to sit on it for a little while, but that's okay. Because then you know that money is already going to make you some money, because there may be very few listed and a lot more sold, if you understand the difference of the two. So when you get started, always make sure to look at if there's more listed than sold, leave it on the shelf. If there's more sold and very little listed, then buy it if you can. But make sure you don't go overboard at the beginning, and make sure that you can save that money, and make sure when you're selling it, making sure that if you are looking at the sold comps and you're buying this for $1.50 and they're selling for $3, is it worth me? And I'm trying to flip money quicker.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of these listed, but none sold. Leave it, because it's not going to be worth it. So try to invest your money wisely when you're starting with retail arbitrage, and don't go overboard, and be very cautious, and make sure you always look at your scans of compared to what listed compared to what sold. Now, there is an app you can download called Keepa, Keepa. It is a free app. I use the free version. There is a paid version. When I give somebody a recommendation for an app, it's going to be free at first, because I use free until I know if it's something that's worthwhile paying for, then I'll pay for it. What Keepa does is you can scan an item. It'll show you, you can pick how long you want the chart to show you, like say a month, 2 months, 6 months, 5 days, a week, whatever. And you can itemize how much of those items sold in a certain time frame. Will let you know what your profit margin can be for an item you're paying for at that time. So if it's telling you it's a good sale item, like ranking, then you can buy. I would buy it. But if it's not a good ranking, I would leave it alone. So that's why I use that a lot too when I'm sourcing.
That is fantastic advice. Yeah. Frankly, it's great advice for me. And when I do these interviews for retail arbitrage, I inevitably go back the next day and then the day after that, just kind of go through the information again. So guys, don't be afraid to sort of revisit any part that seems a little bit, fuzzy for you. And you can always ask Johnny anything. On his channel, it's at this time, it's Return of Kajun Roots Reseller. And I've dropped the link in the chat, but the link is also listed below. And Johnny, I just want to thank you so much from the heart of my bottom. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight, and to reach out, because again, I was explaining to someone earlier with the clothing reselling community, we're more used to watching the video later than actually watching the video live. We have like maybe 2 people who do a live thing and they're married to each other. Right. So typically those are the things that, they'll come back to again and again. So this is great information. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us tonight.
Thank you. And I want to leave one food for thought for one more thing I have in my mind for this.
Yes, of course.
Remember, I may be doing it the way I do it because that's what works for me. But you may watch somebody else that does something a little different. Whatever you take from each person, and if you can implement it into your business of what you're doing, and it works, then do it that way. But if you can take a little bit from every person and try to see if it works, like for me, I've had a lot of things that I've watched in the past, but it doesn't work for me, so I'm not doing it. So keep in mind, whatever works for you is what you want to do. Now, you can take the information from everybody you listen to. It may not be right, but it may be right for that person. So make sure that you get it to the point where you can always tweak it, so to say. Because there's a lot of things that I've learned from other people, but it's like, okay, no, that's not working for me. How can I change it? How can it work for me? And you just take and run with it and see what you can do and make it better for yourself.
It's like putting a little extra vanilla in your recipe.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight. As Johnny says, love always. And as I always say, never forget, always remember, whether you sell old or new or don't sell at all, Glamma loves you.
Mwah.
Good night, guys.
Later.